Welcome back to another episode of WWP. I am the Law, aka Miguel. I am joined by the Order, aka El De Niro. How are you?
I've always been described as the Order by all of my friends throughout my life, and this is no different. I am indeed the Order.
I am indeed the Law. So it only made sense that we should do a podcast together. All this time. It just fits, you know?
Yep.
So everybody sit back, relax, and enjoy as we go into the 2019 Royal Rumble, the beginning of the road to Wrestlemania.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, so this is the time of the year when wrestling becomes, in my eyes,
Good.
almost very good.
This is the time of the year where wrestling becomes worth watching.
Yes, it goes from the 4 out of 10 we get week in, week out, besides, NXT pay-per-views or something like that, and all the way to, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to sit down and watch all 5 hours of this.
Which I did not do. Straight up, I'm telling all the listeners, I did not fucking sit through this whole event. That is not to say that I didn't enjoy it or that I didn't plan on doing it. It's just that it's just too much fucking wrestling. But we wanted to get this episode out pretty quickly because we have not been uploading for quite a while now, and we really just kind of wanted to gauge where you people are, and if there is even still a demand for WWP, the best wrestling podcast ever. So yeah,
exactly, and what better time to do it when usually everybody, even people who are on the fringe, just kind of become aware that wrestling's back on. It never went away, but it's back on. I'm doing quotations, bunny ears here. It's on.
We can all see what you're doing.
Oh yeah, we can all feel it.
Yeah.
Can you feel the road to WrestleMania?
I can feel it like my head is pounding right off of it right now.
Like a headache after a hard day's work, you can just feel WrestleMania. And we start the show with the man, Becky Lynch, defending the title against Asuka.
Yeah, the man versus the Empress of Tomorrow. One of these names is not like the other.
So the story here going into this was that Asuka won the belt at TLC in a triple threat TLC match, as it were. Becky's got a bit of a problem with that because she never beat her, and she's never beaten her one-on-one, from what I understand, at least for a title or a title match. So the feud's been quite decent. You had a lot of Asuka screaming angrily in Japanese, which, hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
That's why we even hit record. And you also had a lot of, Becky is just over as fuck. She's like the female Stone Cold here.
She is the most over I have ever seen any female wrestler ever. And that includes the dark days of Terry Runnels getting her tits out in the ring and the crowd going crazy and Jerry Lawler going whoa. I mean, Becky has got serious fucking fans right now, and it's great to see. She feeds off that momentum so well, and she carries it into every match. And it's weird being a guy from Dublin and seeing her in the ring being like, it's my fucking title.
Yeah, fight me!
Yeah!
Fight me, Oscar! Because she has, I don't know, I don't know if this is even correct for me to say as an accented man, but she doesn't have, a clean Irish accent, does she?
She has a typical Dublin accent, to be honest.
Oh, she does, okay.
Yeah,
I thought she had a more, localized one, because
Nah, just, basically, the rest of the... I have my accent is kind of put on. I don't actually talk like this in real life. That's actually true. I can't... Once I press record, this voice comes out, and I don't know how to stop it. But if one of my friends were to ring me now, I would have a completely different accent.
Hello?
Yeah.
Well, hello there.
To speak to you.
Oh, marvellous. Bloody marvellous, mate. I'll see you later. It's just become the ultimate weird Cockney, but what I like about these two is that you believe in their characters.
Yeah, definitely. They both embody what they are very well.
Yeah, and we're probably going to touch on this when we get to the Rumble matches and all the other stuff about people who is like, you're a gimmick. I feel like you are an extension of yourself. Like Asuka from the second her music, and even Becky, so from the second both their songs hit, it's like, you don't need to know about anything about them, like backstage, personally, behind the scenes, smarky shit. You're like, she's a fucking badass Japanese killer, and the other one's a fucking brawler, fucking, like, she's like smug, but she's not arrogant. Like, it's one of those, like, I know I'm good from both of these ladies.
She's like Conor McGregor circa 2014.
Yeah, like at the peak of the hype.
Mm-hmm.
When Conor did the McMahon walk, I was like 2016, I think. That might have been a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, at that era where it's like anything, especially Becky, anything that she does and says, it's just like fucking gold. So yeah, we start off with kind of a slow back and forth. Becky hit a fucking nasty Bexploder, like to the, it's like the big, what is it? It's not guardrail, it's just like the big side bit. I forgot what it's called now.
Are you talking about the bit like on the mat of the ring, like the fucking
the side bit?
So
barricade, the Jeff Hardy bump bit.
Yeah. What's weird is I had that written down in my notes and I couldn't remember what you call that thing either. But I was like, fuck it, Miguel will know.
I just call it the outside. She hit it on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they go back into the ring. There's a lot of counters in this. A lot of, like, going for submission. So Becky's trying to go for the disarmer, and Asuka's trying to go for the Asuka lock. So you get a lot of back and forth here. Asuka eventually does a fucking nasty Asuka lock where she, like, bridges over, which is the finish.
Yeah.
The torque on Becky's neck was actually scary.
It was savage.
Yeah, like the match is about 20 minutes long. Like I said, there's a lot of counters, a lot of going for finishes. Becky also hits a Bexploder off of the top rope, which I thought was the finish. Yeah, I got properly caught up in this match, so I actually forgot to take notes a lot of the time.
Oh, same. Yeah, the only thing that I wrote notes about was the fucking most typical me thing ever, which was when Asuka and Becky were on the, like, side bit of the ring outside the ropes and they did that, like, fisherman suplex thing.
Nasty, yeah.
Yeah, but the commentary, right, they did that and then there was 30 seconds of dead air and then it showed the replay and Josh Matthews or Todd Phillips or whatever the fuck, Josh Grisham, whatever his name is, goes, Asuka and Lynch both driven face first onto the mat, and that's not what fucking happened. They both landed on their back. Like, nobody reacted.
Clearly.
I was so, like, I don't know why I fixate on this so much, because it's basically, you know, I mention it in every single podcast, but, like, the commentary has to be better than that. You can't not react to something. Like, it's
too light. It's too, like, it's too sports entertainment, because, like, I just wish JR was like 20 years younger and got to call some, because the thing is, JR had to put up a lot of shite wrestling that he made look good.
Yeah, I know.
And now we got good wrestling and the commentators almost take you away from the moment.
Yeah, it's hard work, man, sometimes, but just that really frustrated me because I think the match deserved better than like
what it got given.
Yeah, than that dead air, because it was a fantastic match, and like thankfully that's kind of the only like bad thing that I can remember, and it's nothing to do with the performers. So the match itself I really enjoyed. I thought it was class, and it was great to see the two of them like square off at such a like big stage as well. It was a really good opening match, and
agreed.
Yeah.
How far has women's wrestling come in the last like 4 years?
It's crazy. Like it's actually like
and it was just accepted. It wasn't like people were like, oh, they're trying to be women. I mean, obviously it came from the fans of Give Divas a Chance and all that stuff a couple of years ago. But like, we are now in a time where a woman's match is expected to be 20 minutes and just as good. I put this match up against any match on this card tonight.
Yeah. And
say like it could hold up like fucking candle to all of them. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like, Asuka won, and I quickly jumped on Reddit and Twitter and the Smark forums, and everyone was just like, fuck Vince, as if he made Becky tap. What a burial. Rah, rah, rah. Who are the bigger marks? The people who act like that when one of the people they like loses, which is what actual marks do, like kids.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Like, the irony there, but,
That's funny. That's exactly what they're fucking like. A bunch of children.
It's so, I mean, we know where we stand on this side of the argument. Like, just enjoy it for what it is. It's wrestling. It's not what I think is right, because wrestling is such an abstract thing, as we see from the matches we have tonight, that you can make it whatever you want it to be, but when you start getting wound up too much about people winning and losing, you kind of lose sight of what a good match and a bad match it is.
Yeah.
I think everyone had that during the Cena years, like the rough Cena years.
Yeah, like those years definitely laid the foundation for this kind of mentality, and you can see why. Like, the rough Cena years were bad.
It was, but the thing is, was it bad? Because I think, like, I wonder if we'll be saying the same thing about Roman. Obviously, I know you like Roman. It's been well established. Like, I don't mind him. I don't hate him as much as people hate him.
He's the man.
I also,
God
he's
damn
the
it.
man. He's the new Goldberg. Shut up. But people, especially with the stuff that came out about Roman, about the illness and stuff like that, where you're gonna look back at these people and be like, I can now distance myself from my hatred of Cena and just judge him on actual content of the matches.
I think
you know
that
what I mean?
I do that quite fairly, but I just don't. I think Cena took a very long fucking time to be any good, and I don't think that that's necessarily his fault. I think a lot of it was him deliberately holding back for longevity purposes, so that he didn't burn out straight away. He didn't get many injuries and stuff like that. But there are things that Cena is bad at, and those things were highlighted in spades in the dark years, because he wasn't really... I mean, he worked with fucking everybody, but usually what they would do is Cena would be the top guy, someone else comes along, they build him up, they feed him to Cena, Cena kills him. Like, I'm sorry, but Cena versus Umaga is just never gonna be that good of a match.
It was like the Hogan mentality in an era that didn't need
an era that had far since outgrown the Hogan.
The whole, like, he's the face of the company, and they don't do this anymore, if you notice, which, again, it means that the main event takes a bit of a hit because of that mentality now being changed. So there's good and bad in everything. So after this, just want to point out, did you catch the ad for Paige's film?
Yeah.
Is it me, or that film looks fucking shit?
I would really like to meet anybody who thinks that is going to be anything other than terrible.
Other than, like, a straight to DVD or straight to whatever, straight to Now TV or whatever the world does now. Like, but you know the ending. She fucking makes it.
But also, like...
She didn't meet The Rock. There's no way that The Rock was just hanging around that one time they show in the film and cut a fucking Rock promo and just, like, walked out on children. Heel Rock promo.
Like, they promoed that at Wrestlemania with that painstakingly awful promo of
Paige here.
Paige here, yeah. Literally about 4.5 minutes of silence, and then Paige here.
Paige here.
Then you heard nothing about it, and then the release got delayed. Fucking Vince Vaughn is in that movie, and he's playing Jake the Snake. There is no way that movie is going to be good. I'm sorry.
And Nick Frost plays her dad.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, like at the beginning, they're like kind of in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And she's like, and her brother's like, fine. He's like, son, if you want to choke this little girl out, why don't you do it like this? And she's like, I love wrestling. Okay. Now, of course, these people are from Norwich. It's funny because I've did I say that before? As Paige, we used to see Paige when she was Soraya at the local company that they ran. So that's kind of surreal to be like, oh yeah, that happened over there, and that's over there. But Alan Partridge exists, so the whole, hey, look, that's Norwich thing kind of ran its course.
Yeah.
Yeah, great match though. I'd say probably one of the better openers.
Yep.
And up next we have another Irishman turning up here. Fucking telling you, 2019 is the year of the Irish in WWE. We got The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro versus the greatest tag team in the world, mate.
Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin.
No, it's babyface Miz, full babyface Miz, and sweaty Shane McMahon.
Right, I have to be 100% honest with you. I skipped this match.
I'll tell you about it real quick. Just take a minute. So they do traditional, heels getting control. They start attacking Miz to build up the big tag for Shane. They had a really cool spot where Shane went to do the coast to coast on both of them, on both Sheamus and Cesaro. And Cesaro actually jumped up, grabbed as Shane was jumping, grabbed him. Did the big swing, yeah. And Shane looked like he was about to be fucking just puke into Rosette, but he didn't, so that's good to have. The finish was actually built up. Shane McMahon did a better shooting star press than anybody I've ever seen. A, at that age, or B, even to attempt it.
Yeah,
It's just like some bloke.
Wow.
Got a great reaction. So Shane O'Mac and The Miz are tag team champions. They cut to Miz's dad in the front row, and he's all proud, as if there's my boys. What? So the storyline here was weird. They had Shane win the Best in the World tournament when Miz got hurt.
Yeah.
And Miz was initially pissed off, and then he was like, "Man, you are the greatest in the world, Shane. You should probably wrestle full time, because you'd be a world champion in fucking seconds the way you're booked, mate." And he's like, "Nah, I just want the tag team titles."
Yeah.
But I think everyone thought that at some point Miz was going to turn heel, and it didn't happen. So that was odd. But yeah, it was a nice tag team match. It was what you'd expect from all these four people.
Yeah.
Sheamus is kind of wasted in the tag team, but at the same time, I don't see him pushing him anymore. You know what I mean? He's almost 40-something now. I just don't see it anymore, which is a shame.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of his. Nothing to do with his nationality or anything like that. I just always thought that you can depend on him. And
Yes.
if you want someone to, if people are injured, you need someone to hold the belt. Sheamus will do it, and he'll do it very well. Heel, face, doesn't matter. He's been in wrestling for a long time across many different promotions, and he's a veteran, and it shows. He's quality. He's
a fucking goer as well. For such a big guy, he is not slow. And of course you can criticize that, he had a really rough era when he was a babyface, and he was basically a giant leprechaun, and he'd come and talk about all these Irish legends, and you're just the people that used to bully me for being ginger. Rough years. Again, it was probably the Cena years as well there. That the writing was just awful, but it is what it is. He's probably going to be in a tag team for a little while now, and yeah, at least he's employed, and at least he gets to be highlighted at the Rumble.
Yeah, exactly.
So after this, we had Sasha Banks challenging. I was about to say Rosa Parks for some reason.
Rosa Parks, yes. Sasha Banks and Rosa Parks, the two greatest black women in history.
Who is the truest of the black heroes?
Yeah.
Is it Snoop Dogg's cousin, or is it Rosa sat at the back of the bus, Parks, or at the front? Yeah. So the story here being that Sasha doesn't think that Ronda can beat her at wrestling. I don't know where that came from, really.
Yeah. As I actually, full disclosure, I think Ronda Rousey is probably my favorite wrestler right now in terms of the person that I want to watch the most. Obviously, if anyone doesn't really know where I stand on things, Roman Reigns would have been my favorite. Apart from him, it's Brock Lesnar, and apart from them both, at the moment it's Ronda. I'm a little bit sick of Brock, but we'll get into that later. But I love watching Ronda, and I think that this whole match, it's cool, it's a great idea. I think it makes Sasha look so fucking legitimate, and I think
Yes,
I think people
agreed.
need to really accept that WWE value her and that they see great things in her future and stuff like that. But I thought that it was really strange when this match started off. Sasha did like a hip toss thing and then stood up like, oh, that was nothing, and it just did not fuck. Like Ronda is like about 5 times the fucking size of. There's no
That's what
way
I was
that
thinking as
Sasha
well.
could do anything to, like, for context. Like if you were to frame that in like a man on man fight, it's something similar to like Billy Kidman hip tossing Goldberg across the ring, or Tajiri doing it to Rhino, or I have no contemporary references. If anyone is hoping for one, I don't know. But
Billy Kidman doing it to Hulk Hogan in WCW in 2000.
that actually happened.
Yeah, he beat him.
Yeah.
He fucking beat him.
He didn't beat him, did he? No, he lost at
No, he actually beat him in one of the Nitros in like a tables match.
Oh shit!
Believe it or not.
Wow.
And probably Hulk Hogan was like, "Well, I've done that one job, so I'm
Yeah.
good for life now."
Hogan beat him at not Bad Blood, New Blood Rising, I think it was. Whatever.
One of those type when they had the Millionaires Club and the fucking
it
the
was
Young
dark.
Bloods or whatever.
I think it was actually. I think it was the same event that the Human Torch match between Vampiro and Sting was. That was when Billy Kidman and Hogan had a match.
The bollocks there, right?
Hey, that's a 10 out of 10. That's the only pay-per-view that Dave Meltzer gave 10 stars to, so.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen a bloke being set on fire since in Fall of the Titantron. Have you? No.
I have not, no.
And that's what the world needs right now, is someone being fucking torched.
Not even Sting, just some random stuntman, and it's very obvious that it's a stuntman.
By God, is that Titus O'Neil?
Yeah.
By God, Titus, why are you on fire?
Yeah.
They give a lot of time to Sasha here. A lot of fighting for submissions, kind of similar to the other women's match.
It
but
was, yeah. The
enjoyed
countering and the quick pace of it and everything. There wasn't a single dull moment in this match. And get this, Michael Cole on commentary was fantastic in this match. He called like every move by its actual name. He like never stuttered. He didn't fuck up. I was so proud. I was like, I fucking hate this guy so much, but he has fucking nailed this match, and that's great. Yeah.
He finally said ground and pound instead of saying pound and ground.
Yeah.
Pound and ground. He punched the guy in the face and just mount him.
Yeah.
Like, alright, I guess I got on top of you and I knocked you the fuck out.
Is a Luthez press technically a pound and ground?
Well, no, because you throw him down first. So
true. Yeah, but you I guess you do, yeah, don't you?
You do kind of jump in with your crotch at the guy or girl, but
classic offensive move in mixed martial arts.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio is a big fan of that. He always used to do the fucking teabag back in the day.
He did.
Flying teabag. Why were the Smarks booing Ronda, though? Can we get to the bottom of this? I'm trying to figure this out. And if anybody knows, please drop something in the comments that I'm missing.
So the reason
as a 28-year-old man.
The reason for it is that, and this is actually the case, and it's going to be one of those things where I feel like I am a broken record when I talk about this shit, because I claim to be able to read people's minds when I know that I can't, right? But this is the thing. People, when she first turned up in the ring, everyone was like, Holly home, because they're like, she didn't deserve this, we have a great women's division, she's just coming in here, she's gonna get this, blah 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 blah. And then she wrestled and everyone was like, okay, holy shit,
match of the night at WrestleMania.
Without a doubt, possibly match of the fucking year in my book.
Yeah.
And everyone is like, oh wait a minute, Ronda, actually you're amazing, peg me. And then so now she's in the Brock Lesnar position of she's really strong and no one can beat her, and the nerds don't understand the value of having that. They don't understand the booking quality of that. They don't understand the business sense that it makes to do that. So they're mad, and that's literally what it is. They're mad because Becky should be the champion. It doesn't matter that it's a different brand. This is proof that the WWE hates blah blah blah, does blah blah blah, Vince is blah blah blah, and blah blah fucking blah. So that's why they're booing Ronda, and literally anyone who says otherwise is actually wrong.
Yeah,
as
and
far
it's
as I'm
like
concerned.
switch your name and put Roman Reigns, and it's like the exact same thing.
Yeah, no, it is though, and like I don't fucking care. On my other podcast, The Midnight Hour, I'm very like, what's the word for it? I'm very diplomatic and I'm very protective of people's feelings and like I'm very fair. Like with this shit, I don't fucking care. I'm actually right about this. And I know that I
Agreed.
am, and I'm not even gonna fucking entertain it into the contrary. Like I'm sure there are some people who are booing her because they're a little bit fed up of her match style or whatever. And like that's fine. But the majority of people who are like loudly getting together and deciding not to, those people are doing it because they're bitter nerds, and that's the reason.
Agreed. Have you been, I think it's like people who get a push, they somehow don't deserve it. And it's kind of like, but it's not just based on whether or not they can have a 60-minute Iron Man match.
Yeah, I
That's not
know.
so the same people that said that about Ronda are going to be the first people, and were the first people, to mark out when Goldberg came back.
Yes, exactly. They fucking were. And they were the first people to boo him during the Kevin Owens match. It's like they just don't know what they want. Well, they have an idea of what they want. Like, they like being surprised. That's pretty much what it is. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? They want everything to be the Raw after WrestleMania. That's what they think that every
Yes.
night should be. And it's not going to be that. And they need to
And
accept that.
it's a shame because stuff like that, especially for me, because I like watching wrestling. I like it when the crowd sounds horrible. Because if you pay to go, you can boo and cheer whoever you want.
Yeah.
But it does kind of take you out of the match when you're like trying to understand why other things are happening.
Yeah, I
Not just,
know.
and it's not bad booking. Like Sasha is much stronger. And she had a tough couple of years with a shit with Bailey, heel not heel, friends not friends. They did like an awful comedy skit where they had them go to the therapist, and because Bailey and Sasha aren't like self-aware characters, they don't have the longevity of say what Kane had with Daniel Bryan, where it's like
Yeah.
Kane was this demon, so it was like, isn't it funny to put the demon and this angry little goat man having therapy? Like, it just didn't work. So Sasha is far more valuable now than she was literally 4 months ago or 3 months ago.
Yeah,
But
people would do well to understand that this match, in spite of the defeat, makes Sasha look incredible.
yeah,
Like, people
and
pay too much attention to, like, Seth Rollins lost to Randy Orton at WrestleMania 2014, right? And then everyone was like, I don't see why Rollins lost that, blah, 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 blah. He cashes in. Like, so fuck off. Like, there is a bigger plan than your feelings on the night.
yeah.
You
There
know?
are times when, of course, matches are bad and finishes are bad and stuff goes against the grain, and you're kind of like, well, that
Yeah.
fucking sucks.
It's still
But this
show
isn't one of
business,
them.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this isn't one of them. And the people who book it, the people who write it, they will get it wrong. But I just want to say, do you follow Rhonda on Instagram at all?
No, I really, really, really love Rhonda the athlete, but my recollection of Rhonda the person is that she thinks Sandy Hook was a conspiracy. So
Does she? Have we said this
yeah,
before?
I think so. Yeah, she was on the Joe Rogan podcast there a few years ago and did herself no fucking favors. Now I'm sure she's like reversed a lot of that or become educated or whatever, but she seemed a bit like one of those people. But I
Yeah, it
don't
was
care.
like,
Like I don't hate her or anything like that.
that's not her character. That's not a wrestling
Yeah,
character
like I said, she's
anyways.
my favorite fucking thing on the roster. So, but yeah, I kind of just tend to distance myself from.
She said some weird shit on basically she threw a shitload of shade at Sasha. I'm just gonna read you a quote here.
Okay.
You're an unappreciative, disrespectful, self-entitled narcissist who actually succeeded in eclipsing her talent with her arrogance and portrayal of a boss moniker you take way too seriously. Like,
Wow.
she's going after the person and the character at the same time. It's weird. And Sasha did reply, "Bitch, sit down and be humble."
I
So
think. Oh, I just dropped something. I think.
0 on 10 for that reply. I mean, I can say that. Yeah.
I think it's good because Ronda has that thing of like she's a UFC fighter, so every match
That's what
involving
they
her,
do, isn't it?
yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Hmm.
not. This is not sports entertainment. It's real. So she should be attacking the real person. That's they make these little caveats for certain stars, and Ronda is one of those stars that they do it for. So I'm fine with it. I'm very pro. They do what they fucking want, and
the trash talk it.
Yeah, people find characters that way, and they grow into them, and it just works. I don't know. I'm very pro letting people breathe and find their way into their character or whatever it is. So.
And also another tool to promote the match, I suppose, which is kind of the whole point. She also said something else during the build-up about something about her washing her feet with her hair. I think she was kind of saying to Sasha, gonna bow down, but she went like, yeah, you're gonna wash my feet with your hair, and it just made me think that's some fucking what's it called? Pay for play sort of shit, isn't it? If you want me to wash my hair with my feet, give me $100. Brazzers.
Yeah.
Brazzers.
Chatterbait.
Yeah. All the other classics. I quite like this that Ronda did she's such a trash talker during her matches. Yeah. She's chat shit, and she's like, you think I can't wrestle? Did the fucking Eddie Guerrero triple suplex.
Yeah, that was great. I actually really enjoyed that as well. Do you know what I loved? Really loved? Was when Ronda kicked Sasha out of the ring. Just a fucking stomp to her gut, and she went flying out of the ring.
Yeah, bit weird when she put the arm bar on and she was tapping and she's like, look, ref, and it's you do know the rules, come on. Yeah. But a lovely match. I would say they also told a brilliant story here, just like the Asuka Becky match. So far, women are 2 for 2 in terms of having fantastic matches.
Yeah.
So we go into the Women's Royal Rumble.
Yes.
I just want to get this out of the way. If anybody knows a cuter person than Kairi Sane, then find me that person. She didn't win, unfortunately, but just want to throw that out there. What did you make of that Lacey Evans woman, the first one in?
Oh man, what did I text you at the time?
Who the fuck is this?
I didn't. Did I say who the fuck is?
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
I forgot. Yeah, I said that her bicep is the size of my head.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's
Jesus.
Fucking hench woman in the.
She's
not a negative thing.
No, not at all. No, I'm not saying she's not feminine. Jesus Christ, she's built.
She's a fucking killer. Yeah.
She's only 28. And she's a fucking Marine and a fucking former police sergeant or some shit. How
many badass jobs do you have?
Yeah.
I was a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
I was a hitman. Only Jesse Ventura can be both of those things.
Yeah.
I was in Predator. Yeah. Then we have she cuts a heel promo, so I'm going to witness history. And then we have Natty coming out. The ring kind of fills up mostly on this Rumble.
It does, yeah.
Then we get Liv Morgan, Mickie James, Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce, Ember Moon.
You skipped Mandy Rose. Did you do that on purpose?
What, the goddess? Fucking, what's his name?
Corey.
Corey Gray would just cock fully out, legs akimbo, tissue on, and look at her. He was fulfilling the Jerry Lawler role.
He was. But I feel like he did it in a slightly classy way still.
Of course, yeah. He wasn't being I literally want to have sex with her.
Yeah, he alluded to her entrance being all wavy the way that it is, and just saying that he was enchanted by her rather than that he was...
Enchanted?
But that's the fucking... He wasn't
I love it.
He wasn't if she had a dick, I would suck that dick.
Any part of her body I wouldn't mind licking. Yeah. I know, but I enjoyed that as well, because obviously she's not a very good wrestler, so she kind of needs the character, all the help she can get, and she's kind of been. I mean, this is personal opinion. People can like and not like her, but she's got a storyline with Naomi, who comes in later, which involves her trying to get with her man, which I believe is Jey Uso. Or is that Jimmy? I always forget.
It's the one whose name starts with J.
JJ Jimmy Uso. That's
right.
JJ Jimmy Uso. The Triple J.
I'm pretty sure it's Jey Uso.
I think so. It's funny because I think his real life name is John.
Yeah, it is.
He's got J tattooed on him. I know that from Total Divas. Why would you get J tattooed on you if your name's... I don't know. Anyways, so Corey spends a lot of time giving her a lot of love. I thought, by the way, that this match was incredible in showcasing the women because unlike last year, because we reviewed last year's Rumble as well, you had no nostalgia people, which actually I think that worked on this occasion.
Yeah, it totally fucking worked on this occasion. The only one is Mickey James, but she's a part of the roster anyway.
Yeah, and Maria, same thing.
I have to say as well, man, I literally just blank. Oh, Renee Young on commentary is so good. And like she makes statements and then she's asked to qualify them, and she always has a response that's coherent and like good and clever and intuitive, right? And insightful. Like she doesn't bullshit at all. Like she's well researched, she's very knowledgeable, and it really shows when she's on commentary. She's such a good addition to that team.
She was asking good questions as well. She's like, what should be his strategy or her strategy? Yeah. I think she kind of stumped the other lads because at one point, like, I can't remember what she said to Corey Graves, but she asked him a question being like, oh, do you think this is a good idea? I think is what Zelina Vega did later on where she kind of hid under the apron. And he was like, well, I'm not too sure, Renee. It's like, fucking hell, she's trying here. Like, go with it. Like, I don't know. Think about treating it as a sport in which you can ask certain questions about certain, like you get in football where you get the main commentator asking the second commentator like, oh, they've switched to a 4-4-2 or they've done this. Like, why is that? Why is that left back no longer making the runs? Well, the other team are pushing up. Whereas they seem
for me, Clive.
Or like that fucking Andy Townsend in and around
the 6-yard area.
Yeah, like. And then he's like Irish, but when England are playing, he says "we," and I don't know. I don't know how well down that goes. Yeah, but they kind of left her a little bit hung to dry there, which I thought was odd because she's like the newest person. So I'm thinking they're gonna get that out of her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Only make statements from now on. We don't want any inquisitive. Like we don't want to know what the mentality is. I just want you to say what a maneuver. And especially make sure to mention how much you love this person and this person, and that's it. Yeah. I by the way, I'm a massive fan of Billy Kay. Billy Kay, is that her name? Yeah, Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, the iconic
Billy Gunn.
Billy Kay Gunn, the Australian girls like. Billy Kay was fucking hilarious. She like walked out and she was like, no, not until my friend's here.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Which I thought was quite funny. And then Nikki Cross came out and kind of like pushed her up against the thing.
I liked it when she walked over to the commentary table and she was like, I'm not doing anything till Peyton Royce is... And Corey Graves is just like, that sounds like a really good strategy. I agree with you. That is what you should do. It reminded me of like years ago when it was Ryback versus CM Punk. And like the Shield came out and Michael Cole was like, the Shield, that was the Shield. And CM Punk is like, walks over to the commentary table and he's like, who? I don't know those guys.
I have nothing to do with this.
Yeah. But it was, I love those little interactions that are very clearly off the cuff, but they work so well.
Between announcers, where like the announcers are in like their own little world, and you have the wrestlers, and they're like, right, let's. Cause again, you wouldn't see that in any other sport. You wouldn't see like Joe Rogan being shouted at by like.
Dude, no.
Anybody.
Stop what you're saying. I was just about to say.
That happened.
Well, yeah, when John Jones won his last fight, he went over like to the very edge of the octagon where the commentary table is, and he started shouting like, I love you guys, you make this what it is, it's so great to be back in here and I'm so appreciative for everything that you do and all. And Joe Rogan was like, thanks man, we appreciate you too.
Keep on doing the fighting stuff, bro. That's actually really cool.
Keep taking the drugs.
Yeah, keep failing them tests and getting arenas moved.
Yeah.
I got a question. Why is Tamina in the roster though?
Because her father will kill anybody.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know.
Can't wrestle.
That could have been a case of they didn't want to bring in a nostalgia pick and they just had to make up the numbers. I know it could have been anyone, blah blah blah. But I guess another thing is that she's a different shape and size to a lot of the women that were in there, if you know what I mean. And sometimes in a Rumble, it's good to have a bigger person in the ring with two smaller people. You know what I mean?
It's just weird that she's been on the roster for years now. She's been like,
She's
her and
garbage.
Alicia Fox have been there for probably 10 years now.
Yeah.
But old Foxair keeps kind of reinventing herself, so you don't really think of it as like
She's
sequential.
class.
Yeah. But Tamina, like, she couldn't even do the splash, which is like meant to be obviously a tribute to her dad and kind of like a finisher so your finisher is basically the move you should be able to hit best. She kind of just flopped. I was very unimpressed, so that sucks. We got to see Xia Li, or is that Xia Li? Chinese wrestler. She looked really good as well. And then we get Charlotte, and the ring starts to clear. Get Maria in. Zelina hides under the ring, and that's when we see fucking Hornswoggle. Did you pop for that, though?
Absolutely not.
Another Polish Irishman there.
There is nothing I hate more than Hornswoggle in wrestling. Nothing.
He represents the rough years, I think.
He fucking he does. I just it's so hard. Like Irish people generally don't get sports people to represent them very well. Like we have Conor McGregor now, and that's great. But before that, like Robbie Keane is my hero pretty much because growing up, and I still fucking stand by that. He's the man. But like beyond that, you don't really get anything. And when you do finally get something, it's that. You know what I mean?
It undoes all the other. No, it doesn't really, but it kind of. It's like a grim reminder of like we're not that far removed yet from the shit. You know what I mean?
They shouldn't have fucking Finlay coming out there with a shillelagh. Like Finlay is fucking.
Finlay came out as well later on though.
He certainly did. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Like, WWE is just just run by the Irish now.
I have to be honest.
McMahon.
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah. And they also decided that Hogan was going to be called Hogan just to give him an Irish name because his real name is not Hogan. But
that's right, yeah.
I wanted to say, and I've said this before, I have this, one of my friends, we argue about wrestling all the time because all his opinions are wrong and all of mine are right. But he constantly says...
I can see why you argue, though. You're fucking wrong. Well, I disagree.
Yeah.
Go on.
He says that Alexa is pretty much worthless, and honestly, I think she is fucking awesome. I think she is one of the best workers in the entire women's like division.
She's a star, and
like she's unreal. Though. I don't understand what people are not seeing. Like she's not the best wrestler, but her she plays that part. She's like such a good worker, and I don't think she gets any credit for being that good of a worker either. Like she's fucking awesome.
Good on the mic. She's very athletic. Don't know if you saw when she came in later on. She did like a standing moonsault into like a knee drop. I know it's just like a move she does quite frequently, but it doesn't cease to be any less amazing. Like seeing the Rolling Thunder.
Her elimination of Sonya was fucking awesome as well. Like
ruthless.
Yeah, it was so good, and just the way she's so like conniving and cunning, and like it's just, she's awesome. Like a male equivalent of her would be so fucking over, even as a heel. You know what I mean? Like
she's willing to be hated, which is something that not a lot of people have in them. To be like, I'm going to be a nasty, despicable human being.
Yeah.
And fuck everyone else. It's nice that she was in this. She got cleared to wrestle.
Yeah.
But she'd been, I think she had maybe concussion issues or something like that. So she was kind of out for a couple of months, and there was kind of talk of like she possibly would be retiring. So it's good that she hasn't. Also, I just want to point out that Kairi Sane is. Oh, did I say this? Kairi Sane's elbow is also my favorite elbow in the wrestling business.
Just to look at, like aesthetically, her elbow on her body as it is in a standing position. It's a really good looking elbow.
It's over. That elbow is the greatest elbow. What I like about. I watched this Rumble with my housemate, and what I liked about it is you could see, like, each of the women had a character as well. So this is in the old days where it's like, she's hot. Like, they all had specific things about them that made them stand out. And this Rumble, by the way, is fucking great.
Yep. The last quarter of this Rumble is one of the best final quarters of a Royal Rumble ever. And that is that's a shoot.
That's a shoe, brother.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we had Lana. We get to later numbers, and then we get Lana. And by the way, not Sasha, excuse me. Charlotte, Ember Moon, Natty. They're all fucking MVPs because they were there. They were the fucking Iron Women that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we eventually get to Lana, who's injured. Because earlier on when Shinsuke Nakamura took on Rusev, I think he bumped into her. I kind of watched the pre-show with half an eye on when it was on live, but I didn't really pay too much attention. I just kind of had it on the background, and yeah, so I think Shinsuke or Rusev bumped into her, so she was hurt. We do a little bit of a build-up where she tries to walk to the ring, but she's like walking so slowly.
Yeah.
That by the time she got in, it would have fucking been finished. And then eventually, in probably the pop of the night, I thought,
Yeah.
fucking the man appears.
Yeah, Finlay.
Pop of the night, Finley's there. Everyone's like, no way, is he gonna be in it?
And he does, and he goes in, and he wins it.
And he fucking wins it. He picks up, he does the whoopsie drop when he does that, you know that move when he sits on you?
Yeah.
He does the old whoopsie drop to all the ladies. No, he comes in, look, and then the man, Becky Lynch, comes out. I'll take her fucking place. And he's like, are you sure? I apparently hold the power to change the rules.
But that was,
it's just like,
they actually did something very, very subtly good there. Which was like, first of all, their argument, sensational. I totally bought it. And when Finlay does that thing where he backs off and just motions towards the ring, right, that was great. And the crowd goes crazy. She starts walking. But then Corey Graves, I think it was, said, what the fuck did he call Finlay? He gave him his official title and then said Finlay says that she can do it. But he did it in such a way. Yeah, it was like you know the way it's senior official Charles Robinson or whatever. Like he said, whatever his fucking title is, like he titled him and then said he gives her the authority, like whatever it was. But he just
Road Agent Finlay there, who sets out the matches in this sport. He said that according to the booking, she is allowed to go in.
You are not helping my point at all.
Sorry. I thought, yeah, that wasn't my point to help your point.
Fuck you.
So. It was great though, yeah. The way he's just like had a little argument. She's like, I can do it, and he's like, he kind of has this like, are you sure? Weren't you in a match earlier? Come on.
Yeah.
And then she goes in, and the crowd erupts, and you get a fucking showdown between her and Charlotte.
Yeah.
We get to the final three, and it's I think it's Nia, Charlotte, and Becky. They do the getting the big person over the rope spot, like they eventually get her out. But then Becky injures her fucking knee. She gets pushed off. Not too similar to what Mandy Rose did to Naomi earlier, actually.
Yeah.
So it begins, and then Corey Graves is like, well, they should just award the match to Charlotte.
Yeah.
As if. Yep, you win. Fuck it.
He's a great heel commentator with stuff like that. He's so fucking snide.
I love it. Like he's also someone else who's willing to be the bad guy, which again, you've got to respect someone for that, because in this era of like the internet, you know, people can get offended, people can be, even though you think it's silly that you know you're portraying a character, like he's always he honestly reminds me of Jesse Ventura back in the 80s, where it's like he's usually on point. He's very rarely has an off night. He's great. He's a great addition to the commentary team. And and then they do like, I love that because they milked it just long enough before it would have gotten shit. So you get 2 minutes of like the refs around Becky, and it's like, oh, how ironic. She took the place of someone who was injured.
Yeah.
Oh, get injured herself. Finley's like, what have I done?
She gets in there and she's like, fight me.
Everyone. Fight me! Fight me! And they do a big build-up. Charlotte is... I mean, big ups to Charlotte as well, because she was playing it to fucking perfection.
That was a very, like... people will be mad at me, but that reminded me a little bit of the Rumble 2001 when The Rock and Austin are each in the corner. Austin covered in blood, and then the camera zooms in at both of them getting up and then squaring off in the middle. It was kind of like that. Huh?
Yeah, 2001.
Yeah.
That is it. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah, because that wasn't at the end. It was like at some point in the match, wasn't it?
It was towards the end. It was within the last 5 minutes of it.
It's fucking great, and obviously you got the history between Becky and Charlotte.
Exactly, yeah.
Battle back, so Charlotte charges a big boot. Becky ducks, forearm, Charlotte to the floor. Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Not gonna lie, I fucking stood up and marked out because I thought they got that shit right. They got her out of not winning the belt now, so you can get the big win at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I know that last year Asuka won and she didn't go on to win the belt, but she's champion now, so that's fine. My gripe with that is over, and that was a shock result anyways. But I think with Becky, you are going to see them get right behind her. Can't wait for the promo she's going to cut. Spoiler alert, she's going after Ronda, by the way.
Oh, really?
So she chose Ronda on Raw.
Oh, sick.
So she's already cutting mad promos because they had like a mini thing kind of in November, but then what happened was Becky got a concussion, so she wasn't cleared to wrestle because Nia punched her in the face and punched her for real and kind of fucked her up. And then they also, because that's why, I don't know if you noticed the spot as well where Nia was like looking at her fist and picked up Becky by the hair, and she's kind of like, "Ooh, I'm gonna punch you." It was a callback to that. So now you're gonna get Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, which promises to be a fucking classic on promos and on the actual match.
Man, get hyped. When is WrestleMania?
I don't know.
It's in April though, right?
I think it's first week of April. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's usually around that sort of time. It's gonna be great. Those two, I can't wait. Like with the WrestleMania spotlight, there's stories about Ronda possibly leaving after WrestleMania already because she doesn't like the schedule. So I see Becky winning. It's gotta be.
Yeah, I don't want to make predictions not at this stage, but
No, mate, it's gotta be Becky. I'm sorry. This isn't a prediction. This is just straight up reality. Hang on, let me just find the date for it. Just so
April 7th.
There we go. April 7th. It's gonna be awesome. So yeah, it seems like they took this match and they made this match the better Rumble. Looks like the people who booked it and put it together specifically focused to make this the main Royal Rumble, the talked about Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
It fit the card quite nicely to be in the middle, so you had the break between Asuka matches, the Asuka match and then this match, because it can do a back to back. 10 on 10. My favorite match of the year, delivered. I mean, you get two now, but this one delivered, and it was fucking great. And yeah, Becky is on the road.
Yeah. This was one of the best Rumbles in recent years, without a doubt.
And obviously the best women's Rumble to date, because there's just one before that.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Taker got way over pushed on that. And so up next we have the new Daniel Bryan versus
the old AJ Styles.
The Flat Earther himself.
Yeah. The homophobe.
The homophobe, the Flat Earther, the man who's actually a phenomenal pro wrestler. I think AJ and Ronda would get on quite well.
Yeah.
On fucking InfoWars, just sat there looking at all that shit, being like, can you believe this? No one buys into this shit. What do you think of the new Daniel Bryan on the video package?
I have such a weird thing with Daniel Bryan where it's like I don't know what it is. It's like some inner contrarian in me that's like, yeah, he's good, but so what kind of deal? Like, I don't know. He's amazing. He is without a doubt like one of the best of his generation. But I'm just not that into him, you know?
It's fair enough. I think that's, it is how you feel.
I loved him and Kane, Team Hell No. I thought that was fucking great. And I did really like the Yes Movement stuff. That was great. But he never, I was just never into him like that much. So I guess. So
you wouldn't pay to, you'd be like, I need to see a Daniel Bryan match sort of thing.
Yeah, now I did see his match against Brock, and that was immense. And I loved, I love Brock anyway. But that match was really good.
That was weird. He was kind of micro-faced because he just turned heel at that point because he was obviously champion. So it was a bit of a weird one there.
It was.
Where he was like a face for one night only. I'm actually quite enjoying the new Daniel Bryan, where he just goes around and just says to like fat people, like, impotent! Why are you eating that shit? Kind of all these promos on the people. He's like, you're destroying the planet. I love it.
I like calling like, out the UFC Legacy champion. I can't pronounce his name, but I think it's like Seiudo or Seiduyo. I forget what way the vowels are.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Hey, the guy who beat TJ Dillashaw at the last Fight Night thing.
What did he say to him? Did he just be like, stop eating meat?
No, he was like, he said like that he would knock him out, and that he like I think it was that your man Seiudo or whatever his name is said something about the Bella that is not married to Daniel Bryan. Have you ever heard a worse telling of a story than this? And Daniel
it's like
Bryan
an old wives' tale.
Yeah. Daniel Bryan was like, you shut the fuck up about my sister-in-law, you little bitch, or I'll come over there and take your belt and all like shit like that. So.
No, he's been very active on Twitter as well, cutting bad promos on things.
Yeah.
I love it. He cut a promo on Vince, being like, you hoard all this money.
I saw that, yeah.
You take this and you take and you don't give anything back. Like the fact that he was doing like the, who's that lady that everyone talks about in politics?
Alexandria Cortez.
Yeah, it's like, there shouldn't be any billionaires. Like the fact there's billionaires is a failure of the system. He's great because he's doing the CM Punk thing where he's taking like the straight edge thing or the vegan thing in this case and turning it on its head and being like, fuck off, like none of you are living correctly. You are destroying the planet, which is true.
But it makes no fucking sense. Like there's no
there's no fix for it. I understand it.
No, but it doesn't even. It's not Vince's fucking fault. Like it's such a what I tell you what I dislike is a great promo and all of that, right? But it's not philosophically consistent with anything at all. It's basically just nonsense that sounds compelling, like a Rage Against the Machine record. Like it says a bunch of shit, doesn't offer any solution or anything else. It's not even an apt criticism. But what I hate the most about it is that fucking people on Twitter who I like, but whose politics I think are a bit too far left even for me. But they're like, this is why wrestling is great, and people are like, wow, he said so many things that are true. I was like, no, he fucking didn't though. He just said a bunch of things. Like,
no, you're right. No, because you're supposed to disagree with him.
Exactly. It's not meant to be coherent. It's supposed to be nonsense. Like
it's supposed to be this guy who just lost his mind because he had to basically turn back on himself in order to win the title. Yeah. So he's like, this validates everything about me, everything I believe in, which is this and this, but it's the whole point that he's so aggressive about it that, like, it just turns into insults rather than, like, they're truths, but it's that, like, meat eaters, that's bad if you think about it, because, more meat consumption, like, there's disease, there's illness, there's people throwing, like, 100 billion pounds of food away every year when they're still in Africa who can't eat. But it's that sort of thing where it's like, but what are we going to do about it? Like, what the fuck? Like, the world's come such a long way that you can't just be like, nobody eats meat. But he wants no one to eat meat, and he'll never get it. So he'll always be angry, and I think it's the angry vegan thing that works. This match was a massive disappointment, though, I must say. It's the match you closed your eyes on and just thought about Brock. It's fine. So the match it's kind of similar to the previous match that we've seen. That's all about getting submission moves in.
Yeah, and these counters and like, how many in pro wrestling as they attempt to legitimize it even more? How many more of these flip and pop up pin attempts can we
lack
have?
Of selling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And how many like finisher kickouts? But it's weird though. They've got a lot of people whose finishes are submissions these days. I've just noticed. Even Brock technically later on. But yeah. So we got AJ going for the calf crusher, Brian going for the not cattle mutilation, the yes lock or whatever he calls it now. I think it's back to being called the label lock.
The crippler crossface.
Yeah, the crippler across the face. Yeah. Legally different, pretty much the same. The finish of this match was very strange. The ref gets knocked and everyone... And by the way, the crowd was oddly quiet too. for this one. But then again, it's the 18th hour they've been watching.
Yeah,
So
that's true, yeah.
I think Brian punched AJ pretty hard in the face as well, busted his nose, which was interesting.
He's hitting really hard now.
Yeah, well, he's just hitting. He's just flat out hitting. Eventually what we get is, so AJ's nose is kind of fucked, and Brian's like, how's your nose, AJ? He's like, well, not good, to be honest, mate, but that's your fault. We get Rowan interfering.
And he weighs about 700 pounds now.
Yeah!
He was never that big before.
He ate Luke Harper. He is becoming a double man. I think it's because he's dressed in normal clothes. I don't think I've ever seen him dressed in normal clothes either.
Yeah.
He had like a Daniel Bryan t-shirt as well. So are we seeing some sort of Bray Wyatt style vegan family here?
Yeah, flock.
Yeah, bearded fuckers reunite.
Yeah, the bearded baddies.
Yeah, the bearded baddies. That sounds like a very 90s thing. I like it.
Yeah.
Dudes with attitudes, they should go up against them.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, obviously Brian retained. I'm thinking out of this one that we're going to get possibly Bray coming back and challenging Brian at WrestleMania.
That's what everyone wants.
I mean, that's just wishful thinking. I actually enjoyed because remember, we reviewed the 2014 Rumble when they had... We had, that's in the record books, when we had Brian versus Bray, which I think we both agreed was a phenomenal match.
Yeah, without doubt.
Bray was on a hype at that point, and they had the Shield feud. But, I haven't seen Bray in a while. I don't know if he's hurt or if they're just kind of taking their time with him. But if they're going to go down there and have him be like, yeah, I recruited one of yours, fuck it, let's fight. Yeah, I thought this match was underwhelming, but maybe that's my fault for expecting too much out of these two. Because this would have been a dream match, like when Brian was retired. Like when Brian was retired, everyone was kind of going, oh my god, what about Brian versus this guy? Brian versus this guy, Brian versus this guy. But the execution didn't really fall through. It's one of those classic 6 out of 10s or 5 out of 10s where it's like, it's not bad. It's just, there's nothing tangible that you can point to, unlike the women's matches, that you can go, that's what was great.
This is what happens, though. People big up these types of the wrestlers who are really good at wrestling. People big them up too much. Like AJ Styles versus Nakamura at WrestleMania, like, wasn't that good, you know? Yeah,
I made the mistake of watching their Wrestle Kingdom match.
Yeah.
Folks who haven't seen that, please do, but then don't watch their WWE stuff, or don't watch any WWE main events for like a week, because you're going to be like, oh god, like, that match is half an hour, and they're going hard, hitting hard, and then you have that on your mind, and you're going, these two are the best wrestlers in the world. They have to, I mean, like, anything less than a 5-star match becomes a minus 5-star match.
Yeah.
Well, they put on a 3.5-star match, and everyone's like, oh, that was awful. It's like, it's not awful, but at the same time, there's nothing that you can be like, that match, I'm going to remember that for a while. So it was the case here. There's a lot of other great shit as well that kind of takes it away, and it's like the 4th hour into the show.
Yeah.
And that the crowd, happened to pick this match as the bathroom break match as well.
I'd have done the same, because Brock versus Finn, that's where it's at, in my opinion.
Sorry, David Finn Balor versus Goliath Brock Lesnar. I believe they're
the problem. Like, so I love Brock Lesnar. I love all of his matches. I know that not everyone is in the same boat as me, in that sense. And I don't take a wrestler like Asuka. She doesn't need to do anything. She's the Empress of Tomorrow. She's got the same music every time she comes out, but it's convincing in some way. But I am so sick of ladies and gentlemen and victims and conquerors and Suplex City and conquered by the reigning, defending, beast, merciless, conquering ladies and gentlemen and advocates for the beast incarnate, conquering Suplex City, defending, reigning gentlemen. Shut your fucking mouth. Say something
That was
new.
very good.
Fuck off.
That was very good. Yeah, they're both going through the motions. And also, did you notice how weirdly Brian and AJ had the more soapy stories, and Brock and Finn, I mean, and I fucking love these two guys for different reasons, obviously. But they had, like, why couldn't they just say, look, this guy versus this guy? Why do they have to go, it's David versus Goliath with fucking Vince there? And because Vince was the one that coined that, because Vince has been like putting his dick in every single feud apart from the women's. Because if you saw earlier on the AJ Bryan stuff where he's like trying to motivate AJ Styles, and AJ Styles punches him in the face, and he's like on the floor and he's like smiling like, violence turns me on. It was weird. It was unnecessary. Why couldn't they just say, this guy is not as big as this guy? Why did it have to be like, must take it back to some sort of mythology? And I know that name Finn, the name Balor, actually, from mythology, like Irish mythology, I think, because I think someone explained it once. I think it might have been Finn himself. I get that. But Finn hasn't really touched on that side of the character in years. No. In years. Not since he came in. And, like, he doesn't even come in as the demon anymore, so he's lost, like, all the mystical elements. But the build-up was like, look how little this guy is, and look how big this guy is. Yeah. I enjoyed it, though. The match was fucking great. It was only 9 minutes. Didn't need to be that much longer.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't really care about, like, a 30-minute wrestling clinic. Obviously, that's great when it happens, but, like, you can't beat a good, quick, like, fucking explosive match, and that's what this was.
It was like, let's just go for 9 minutes non-stop rather than going for double as that and having rest spots.
Yeah,
simple.
Finn was, like, he obviously started incredibly fast, but the point where, and you knew it was coming when Brock grabs him in midair and then flings him across the ring. That goes to show how ridiculous. The most ridiculous thing about this match was that they fucking bothered to show the tail of the tape between the two of them. Like, there's just, like, what are you doing showing that? Like,
Don't do that.
They try and do this fucking UFC thing with Brock all the time, where it's like his matches are different. They can end in TKO. Every match it has to show him versus this person and all these stats, like what they would do in UFC. You're really belittling the whole fucking point of this by doing that with someone like Finn, and it's stupid, and they need to fucking cut it out. But
because Finn is a wrestler,
yeah.
He's not in that world, and he is a smaller guy.
He's even like 90 kilos.
I've never thought of him being like, there's little 205 live Finn. Yeah. Like, why is he even in this division? Shouldn't he be? Because, like, he's a star. He looks fucking great. He's in phenomenal shape. I remember when he fucking debuted, and he comes out, because he also got the belt, like, why when he debuted, beat Roman clean.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many straight men eye fuck a guy. Like when he debuted and he came out in his leather jacket, and everyone was like, oh my god, who is this guy? Armani, very nice. Finn's not about that, so I thought they kind of approached it wrong. But once the match started, it was fucking great. Little side note here, Chris Jericho called Brock Lesnar Tubby on Twitter.
Wow.
And everyone was like, oh, fuck, drunk Jericho's that. He's like, not drunk, I'm just saying that his belly's sticking out.
What? Brock is in phenomenal shape.
Didn't the guy have fucking diverticulitis?
Diverticulitis, yeah. But also, like...
And Shane. As did Shane. That's why Shane still looks a bit bloated these days.
Yeah. But Brock looks fucking... Like, when you consider... Like, Steiner used to call himself a genetic freak. Brock Lesnar is an actual genetic freak, irrespective of the steroids that he is definitely on. Although I would imagine Brock is probably not taking anything now because he does want to fight Daniel Cormier, and I know he's extended...
on a night cycle.
Yeah, but like you can tell by looking at him, like he looks about as healthy as he can look. He's in phenomenal shape. It was one of the first things that I noticed when I saw him. He looks great. Jericho,
natural in a phenomenal shape. Yes, I don't know where Jericho came in with that. I think he's just trying to cause controversy, maybe.
I love Jericho, but he is a bit of a bitter man sometimes. He's a bit petty sometimes.
He needs content for his podcast as well. So, he had the thing, because he signed for AEW.
AEW, yeah.
Yeah, so he just needs a little bit of content, and so he doesn't have to do the cowbell. I thought it was a bit unnecessary. I thought it was like, what, that's your hot take, is it?
Yeah, like, exactly. Yeah, of all the things you could say, you fucking, like, fuck off with that.
Yeah, that is
unprofessional as well.
And again, I thought it was fucked up that Brock obviously have diverticulitis and stuff like that they did really push them, where Finn pushed him into the corner of the announcer's table.
Mm-hmm.
that looked like it actually hurt. Like,
did.
his belly had, like, a big red mark on it.
That's the thing about Brock. Like, call him a part-timer and all that shit, but, like, when he's there, he actually does give 100%. I know we said he was going through the motions, but that's particularly talking about his character. Like, he's sensational in the ring.
In the ring, yeah, he usually goes in, and in telling and giving, yeah, like, bits in between you could question here and there. Also, yeah. Brock Lesnar has been around longer now in his second run than he was in his first. But I would argue that he's had less matches in the second run.
He almost certainly has.
First.
This motherfucker was doing dark matches in Australia in 2002, and you know,
mad, isn't it?
Now you can't even get him on Raw. Brock Lesnar hasn't been on SmackDown since 2003.
Yeah, and like it's just weird to think, like, wrestling's so weird like that, where it's like you've had a longer run but less matches and less appearances overall. You could probably put, like, his first year, like, from when he debuted after that WrestleMania in 2002 and then to him winning the belt from Kurt the following year. He probably had as many matches in that block of time as he's done now.
Yeah.
If not less now. So eventually it's one of those matches where it's like Finn has to do 3 moves for every one of Brock's.
Yeah. It's like the diving out of the ring on top of him is great, because I think that when they dive through the ropes with their hands out, I think that's shit, and they need to stop doing it because it's terrible and it doesn't look sore. It looks very obvious that they're being caught. I don't know why they always do it in every single fucking match now. But these dives that Finn did were really good and they looked effective, so more of that. Also, the weird goth guy has red hair.
Yes.
Thought I should point that out.
That he does. Then eventually Brock becomes a meme in this match.
He does.
He does the old "I've been caught wanking again" look.
I sent I'm not gonna say that story, actually.
Save it for the X-rated version of WWE.
Yeah.
So
actually,
Brock retains.
No, what I'll do, Miguel, is I'll send a screenshot of it to you on WhatsApp. Oh no, I can't. I'll do it later. I'll fucking
Do it when nobody's listening.
when we hang up, I'll send you that on WhatsApp. Just remind me.
All right, I will. I'm actually interested in this now. A tease. So Brock wins. Great showing. This was basically like the reverse. Not the reverse. The same as Ronda and Sasha, in which in a loss because Finn. I think Finn and Sasha are weirdly parallel, where they're kind of just treading water for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And then finally people are like, actually, you get a title shot.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a title shot, but you get a title shot next. He's shown to take. He didn't take Brock to the absolute limit, but he took him far enough for people to be like, he's going to be a star if he's not already a star, a main event star, I mean.
Do you know what they should have done, in my opinion, is not had this event be 5 hours long. They need to cut that out and stop that, because I'm not watching wrestling anymore as much because it's like a job to me now.
See you for the 8-hour WrestleMania, yeah?
But this is the thing, like, I can't fucking come home from work at like 7 p.m. and then watch 5 hours of it is impossible for me to watch it in one evening now. Which is ludicrous. But what they should have done was have this be a shorter event. Start off with, I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to fucking reorganize the card for you people. But they should have had Demon Finn come out. And that would have been...
I think so. I think that would have... If there was any match that would have... he's thinking, can I beat him as myself? Why don't I come out as the Demon? Yeah. But then again, having said that, we could be talking a possibility of a rematch down the road where he does go, actually, I couldn't beat you as regular ass David. Why don't I just become a demon instead?
Yeah.
And then we have Demon versus Goliath.
Making them both normal size.
Making them both seem very normal size. Yeah. I love that.
Same.
Yeah, the Giants, so, more to come from them for sure. I don't know what their plans are for the males situation going into WrestleMania. I think, hang on, spoiler alert, let's cover the next match instead. So now we have...
Jeff Jarrett.
Elias in the ring.
Yeah.
Big fan of Elias. he's huge. Like, he's a weirdly, because he basically just looks like if Seth Rollins ate one of the mushrooms in Super Mario.
No, he looks like if Luke Harper ate Seth Rollins, right?
Yes. Or if they did like the Dragon Ball fusion thing.
Yeah.
And they just merged, and it's like, I am Elias, Super Seth Rollins and Harper.
It's my favorite thing ever that you consult Dragon Ball Z regularly for explanations.
Yeah. The more obscure, the better, I think.
Yeah.
The less people get it, the better. Yes, and then he gets interrupted. Oh, by the way, we have Jerry Lawler and JBL on commentary.
We certainly do.
I was happy to see. I thought, man, do you know what wrestling needs? The old fuckers, they used to fuck me up. And in 1999, and in 2006, and in 2008. Like, that's what this needs. Because this match, by the way, this second Royal Rumble match was basically all the leftover shit they couldn't put into the women's one. It was all like, the next day pizza. Good, just not as good as when you first order it.
This was as underwhelming as it gets, and this should not have been the one to close the show.
No, it definitely should have been the other way around. Not that we're rebooking this thing, but I agree. It was nice to see Jeff Jarrett interrupt Elias, for sure.
Yes, that was great. I think I've said it before numerous times. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Jarrett. It was a great nod to the fact that he was one of the original guitar guys and all of that stuff, and like they're both musician wannabes, and they're both heels as well. And then
but Elias was face. Elias was a baby face at this point. He actually officially turned heel on the following Raw when he had a match with Jeff Jarrett. But was Jeff Jarrett supposed to be so annoying that him hitting him was a good thing?
I don't know. Maybe I'm complete. I didn't even know that Elias was a face.
Yeah, he's turned face, which is why over the last couple of months his songs are fucking shit. Because, once you lose that going after the crowd gimmick, it's It basically, they were trying to repeat the Kane Honky Tonk Man spot from the 2001 Rumble.
The best Rumble.
Except that the Honky Tonk Man was genuinely hateable, and Kane was genuinely like, it's like, why the fuck am I putting up with this shit? Hits him. But I was enjoying seeing Double J. Like, I thought they were gonna do a Double J. Sorry, I was hoping they were actually gonna do a duet.
I would really like to do this. Side note here, I would really like to do a podcast where and I don't know if anyone out there in the world would care to hear this, but this could be a new type of podcast that we become famous for, where we watch the 2001 Royal Rumble and we analyze Kane and nothing else. Like, we just talk about Kane and why that was the perfect monster heel ever. Like, that is the moment where they perfected the monster heel, and they perfected the monster heel in the Rumble. And I'd love to do a podcast that's literally just an hour of us talking about Kane in that Rumble, because I think that it would be good.
Only if we can talk about his frizz levels.
Yes, absolutely, we can talk about this. I mean, that's going to be at least 37 minutes of the conversation. So.
The other two is he threw up Perry Saturn and Raven at some point. And
he hit Steve Blackman on the head with the trash can lid while Blackman was holding on backwards, and it's the funniest elimination ever. And for any of you who haven't seen that Rumble, like, fucking sort yourselves out.
Yeah, it's a very satisfying Rumble. It's a very satisfying hit, too. After this, we get Shinsuke Nakamura, who doesn't even bother to bring out his newly won U.S. title. Not only that, he was the winner last year, and they treat him like a fucking jobber. This annoyed me. This genuinely... See, I became a mark here.
Yeah.
I went from mark to mark. I went from reviewer to just being like, he's a fucking star. There's nothing wrong. Obviously, you can't push everyone all the time. I understand that. But there's nothing wrong with basically going, that guy needs to be protected.
And let me tell you this as well.
Brother.
Yeah, let me tell you this, Mean Gene. Rest in peace, Mean Gene. We never said
R.I.P. Mean Gene, of course, yeah.
Mean Gene.
Easy. Mean Jim.
Jim
I've
Beam.
just undone everything. Jim Beam. R.I.P.
So, this Rumble, I I'm just gonna fucking say straight out was kind of garbage, to be honest. But one thing it notably lacked was stars of any kind. And Nakamura, when he comes out, you should be saying, "Oh my God, business is picked up early on in this Rumble. It's the winner of last year."
He's a winner.
Yeah.
Yes.
But instead, they're like, "Ha ha! It's Japan."
Yeah. Oh, there's Shinsuke, who earlier on won the U.S. title. Not his biggest accomplishment in the Royal Rumble, though, is it?
No.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And Kurt Angle came out next, also treated like an absolute... Like, Kurt Angle wrestling last year at WrestleMania was a massive fucking deal. Kurt Angle wrestling at TLC, where he came out as, like, the Shield's dad when Roman was hurt.
That was great.
When he came out, it was like, I'm in the Shield now.
What?
Okay.
Roman was out with, like, fucking swine flu or something. What was the something...
Yeah.
Like,
it was that weird era where loads of them got sick as well.
Yeah, what was it that they got sick with? There's a trivia question.
It was something that was going on in the locker room. Like, I think, a couple of the ladies got sick as well, a couple of the guys.
Yeah.
In that crazy TLC match that involved, like, them being put in a fucking dumpster truck. Crazy match.
Yeah.
Kurt, I know what he's meant for WWE. Of course, his career was slightly longer in TNA. But, like, he also came in and he looked like an absolute nobody. I actually find it uncomfortable watching him wrestle because he looks like he's in pain constantly.
It's nowhere near Undertaker levels, but yeah.
It's still gingerly, isn't it?
It is, absolutely, yeah. You're still like, whoa, be careful with Kurt.
Yes, and then we had Big E come out. I'm always a big fan of Big E's sexy dance, I must admit. I quite enjoy that.
I'm kind of over the New Day.
Yeah, you think they should be heels, actually? Because they got over as heels.
I would love if they... Yeah, maybe. I just think all three of them came out in this Rumble, and I can't fucking hear. It's a dude. I'm fucking so sick of that entrance music, and...
That whole thing was like meant to be like an obnoxious thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the problem. It's the exact same thing as Elias, where it's like,
it
gets so over that they go, we must turn them face. But then the problem is have to be friendly, which takes away like from the sharp edges. I always like their outfits, don't get me wrong, and I think that like they came up with a whole gimmick themselves, from the pancakes
They're amazing.
to when they dressed as Saiyans. But I feel like their creativity is a bit more stumped as baby faces, because they don't have like that. Like, oh my god, I want these guys to get punched in the face. They're so obnoxious.
Yeah.
You do think that as baby faces now, though. Like, as you said, the Big E thing, you feel the power. It's like, if people are booing as he's doing that whole shtick, it's hilarious.
I noticed that they went to the crowd and there was a few people mouthing along, but there was one guy in particular in kind of like the bottom left of the screen. He was
the guy dressed as a ref?
No, not him. He was quite into it, but there was another guy, and he was like a balding guy, but he just looked fucking tired of this shit. And he kind of mouthed along some of the words, but his facial expression said, eh. And I think if I were like an artistic, or like if I were like a journalist, if I were in any way qualified to review shit, I would have a picture of him and I would be like, this is what I feel. This man perfectly encapsulates the atmosphere around the concept of the New Day inside of my brain right now. That's what it's like.
The moment where it's like you can pinpoint someone being like, what was I thinking 5 hours? Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like if you take an extra shift at work and then it gets about the halfway point when you're doing overtime and you're just like, what was I fucking thinking?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so tired. I mean, I do think that every day, but if I took OT, it'd be like, oh my god, what was
I was just
thinking?
about to ask that. I was about to say, there's no fucking way you've ever done overtime.
I used to do 12-hour shifts at an old job, but
oh, Jesus.
You know, that was required. Yeah, that was like during uni times. It was just like, need the money.
Yeah.
I'm here for the summer. I will do 12-hour shifts. You get used to it. You know, the body gets used to everything eventually.
Yeah.
But during those early days, it would be like I would do 8 till 8, and then it would get to about 6 o'clock. Keep in mind, I would have been normally finishing at 5, so it's not that far in. Get to about 6 o'clock, I'm like, fuck was I thinking?
Yeah.
Oh my god, what, 2 hours? 2 more hours of this?
Yeah.
Fuck. So that guy was already thinking, 27 more people in this.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Then we got Johnny Gargano. Have you seen much of this guy?
A little, actually. Yeah, he's probably
Johnny
one of
Wrestling.
the NXT guys that I've seen the most. Yeah,
he looks very normal, but he's a very good wrestler.
He's very good. Yeah, he is.
And after that, we had Jinder Mahal with Strictly Come Dancing, the Singh brothers. What the fuck were they wearing? What's with like the ball dancer shirts?
I'm not like I'm doing that thing where people put their hand up to their neck to call it timeout or whatever it is, that that thing. That's what I'm doing now. Cut it exactly.
Yeah.
That's what, Can we not?
Can we not talk about? Yeah, Jinder was very he looked very roided up again. He's scary looking. Yeah. I don't like looking at him. He looks like a fucking purse.
He looks like a heart attack.
Yeah, yeah. Jerry Lawler's like, I agree. Yes, we then eventually had Samoa Joe come out. They put him over a little bit.
They did, yeah.
There he is. He's scary.
Kurt Hawkins.
Kurt Hawkins. We had. He's on a 256 match losing streak. How the fuck did he earn his way to the Rumble?
Yeah,
but,
fuck off.
You know, the Velveteen Dream from NXT couldn't get in, but okay.
I think that's probably because they're saving him though for it's going to be good when he comes in.
I'm talking kayfabe, of course. Yeah.
Fuck you, Miguel.
Yeah, you're fucking Mark. Big fan of the Velveteen Dream, I must say. He's one of those people that's just like, he probably lives that gimmick. Like, he probably just goes around being Prince Jr. and loving life. Yeah. So, kind of guy you want to be in a bar with, just be like, man, this guy's fucking crazy. But, yeah, we had Elias' son, Seth Rollins, come in at some point.
Titus is still fucking riding the coattails of the slip under the
falling over.
Shut up and fuck off. This is WWE. This is what they do, is they get a thing, it goes viral, and then they fucking kill it and stomp it into the ground and bleed it until there is no blood left, and it is just terrible.
And he'll fall over again. Hey! If they pop this time, fine. This is the one time they can get to do that and have the self-congratulatory, like, look at us, look how self-aware we are. It's like, come on, like, everyone saw it. Yeah. Did you notice the time between entrances was like, they said 90 seconds. In the women's match, I noticed this as well. But this time, oh my god, it was like about 20 seconds each time.
So there's a thing that I would like to know. I thought, and I didn't ever glean this from watching wrestling, this is something that I read on Twitter. Do you remember when one of the fucking jobber guys, probably one of the guys from the 3-man band or whatever, came out at, might have been the Greatest Rumble, and just got everybody's finisher. Like, he stayed on the outside.
Oh, yeah, yes.
So that...
A painful Rumble, that one.
Yeah, oh, Jesus. But that started this thing that apparently if you don't get into the ring before the next entrant, you're automatically eliminated. Curtis Axel in a Royal Rumble recently got attacked on his way to the ring and then just disappeared, never came back, and this thing started where people were like, yeah, well, if you don't go into the ring by the time the next entrant comes out, then you're not in the Rumble anymore. But obviously that's not true, because Billy Kay in this Rumble. So I don't know what the story is with that.
Oh, they fuck with it, don't they?
In kayfabe, yeah, and they do the same thing with this. It's fucking, it is not fucking 60 seconds or 90 seconds or 2 minutes. It depends. It used to be 2 minutes.
It's whatever fits the next bit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when Jarrett came out, it was a good 3-minute segment with Elias.
Yeah.
And then when Jinder Mahal came out and got eliminated quite quickly, or Curtis Hawkins kept coming in and out of the ring, like, it was like about 20 seconds. And they were like, man, bring the next guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of, that's a great rule though for kayfabe, to be like, right, if you're not in the ring by the time the next person comes out, you're not in the ring at all.
Yeah.
You're gone. Because they had the gimmick, I think Nunzio was the first one to do it.
Yeah, getting eliminated in record time.
No, the whole sitting outside.
Yeah, like Vince kind of did it in 1999, was it? Or
yeah, with Austin, where there's like brawling in the toilet, but you know, that was when it was like, right, we can do this every now and then, but they did it in both Rumbles, and they did it quite frequently, because they had a lot of women as well do the whole, like, oh no, she fell out of the ring, because you remember the Riot Squad came in and attacked Rumble. And it's like, and the other thing I hate, I've always hated this, which is I get eliminated, I didn't pull you over the rope, and you're out as well. Like,
yeah,
I know that's what Mandy did to Naomi, but I'm like, why would they do that? Like, it's not kayfabe, because then, and a couple of times they do that, and they're like, oh, no, he's not out because that guy wasn't in it. So, like, sort it out.
You can't do that in a battle royale.
No.
It doesn't count then. Like, yeah, it's stupid. They need to fucking... It's like the old WCW thing as well, where it's like, when someone goes over the top ropes, it's disqualification, but that only happens sometimes.
I think the wrestlers just forgot.
yeah, that is what it's like, though. And the commentators would have to make up shit and be like, nah. Yeah.
Like, the time where, I think it was like, this is going back to the 90s, but it's like Macho Man and Yokozuna, and Macho Man does the big elbow and goes, like, for the pin. And then he's fighting, or it might be a different Rumble, he's fighting someone else, and he accidentally, I think it's like Piper he's after, or maybe Jake, he's in the Rumble, and he accidentally, to get out of the ring, because he's so used to getting out of the ring one way, he actually goes over the rope, and eliminates himself. Great Khali did it as well once, which was the funniest thing. Yeah, this match with Edge, which was like an over-the-top rope challenge to be in the Rumble, like a one-on-one. And Great Khali, because he's so used to stepping over the ropes to get out of the ring, he just stepped. The man is 7'7" as well. It'd be weird if he went like rolled under, but he should have done it obviously. But like he goes over, and you can see the commentators being like, he's eliminated. How is this match still going?
Yeah.
And like, there's like about 30 seconds, and then they ring the bell, and Edge I think it was Edge at the time, and Edge wins, and it's just like this. You can tell they're like scrambling for time, because the announcers are like, up next we have. That had never happened, so they need to just, because the thing is, if they make those rules, for example, the whole like, if you don't get in the ring before the other person, or someone who's been eliminated can't eliminate somebody else, the times where a storyline calls for that, we'll say, for example, someone is so vicious and involved in the feud with somebody else that they don't necessarily eliminate them, but they beat him up so bad that they have to be like stretchered out, and they're like, right, you can't literally be in the Rumble. Yeah. So they took your opportunity to be at WrestleMania. It means more because they've stuck to those rules. Like, it's a little bit like back in the day where a closed fist could get you a massive heel reaction because you weren't allowed to do closed fists. I know I sound like old JR now, like, oh, back in the 70s, but that's too far back to go. But my point is that with stuff like the Rumble, you have to be consistent for people to take it seriously. Because if you're breaking your own rules, why would we give a fuck?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Rant over, sorry. Kofi did the usual.
Yeah, not as impressive this time, but still pretty cool.
No, he's running out of spots, isn't he?
Oh, definitely. There's only so much you can do, you know?
Yeah, between, like, the barricade, jumping in, blah, blah, blah. We get Dean coming out, and I actually hadn't noticed that he actually changed his jeans as well. So he's gone from, like, the mom jeans to having the fucking chain. You know the chain?
Oh, I know the chain. That?
We did it in the I know I did in the mid 2000s. So ain't nobody taking my wallet because I'm chained to it, man.
How much money you got in there? Oh, nothing. I just have a fake ID that wouldn't even get me anywhere anyway.
Wouldn't even get me my own fucking house, mate. Like, yeah. Well, how much money you got there? Oh, just the £20 EMA I get from college every week. Oh man. Let's check out this guy. He's loaded.
Ambrose has pretty much lost the majority of that bulk that he put on while he was out, didn't he?
He has. He also. Apparently, there's rumors that he might be leaving after WrestleMania as well. I think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit because like his fucking wife works there. They're on the same brand. He's on Total Divas. He's not leaving because he might take time off he might be like push me properly. He's not. But it's nice to speculate. No Way Jose then eventually comes out.
He can fuck off.
Adam Rose 2.0.
Fucking hate. Yeah. Oh man. This shit drives me fucking crazy. Who are the people who like this? Like, who are they? Show me them. Because I don't believe that they exist at all. And he came out, like, when he first started, he got, like, a serious type of thing. And so did Adam Rose, where it's like, oh,
Yes.
these guys are actually not a joke, but they have a joke gimmick. Like, what the fuck do you
In
think
the ring,
they're gonna...
serious.
It's the same shit with who's that fucking Fandango? Like, it's so fucking
Yes.
obvious what he is
Yes.
going to amount to, and you give him Jericho clean win. Just
Brodus Clay,
they...
remember him?
Yeah.
Somebody call my mama. That shit.
Lord Tensai. It's
Lord
always
Tensai.
the fucking same with these fucking gimmicks. And
It's
I know
like,
that
we like to dance, and my whole personality is based around dancing.
only
and I'm
person who
shit.
ever made that successful is possibly Road Dogg, I guess. Like, because he did a little bit of the shimmying and, like, singing and stuff. Like, I know Jarrett did too, but it's sort of different. Like, Jarrett didn't do it in such a wacky way, because when you're smashing a guitar over someone's head, it's not quite the same thing. I'm trying to
They
think
were
of, like, the
lucky
real,
that-
like, the twee kind of camp dancing, right? Like, Scotty 2 Hotty and fucking...
The 3-man bands, remember that? It was Jinder, Drew McIntyre, and Heath Slater, where they just played air guitars.
Yeah.
And it's like the fucking state of use, especially like what Jinder. I mean, even Heath Slater's still employed, to be fair. It's like they don't know what to have for somebody. They're like, can you dance? I'm not that good, right? You're dancing. Fandango actually took lessons. He tried, and then he did get over. The song got over.
Yeah, it did,
and then they de-pushed him and changed his song. So what you're telling us there is this gimmick was never meant to get over.
Yeah.
And it's just like the No Way Jose and Adam Rose. It's like, it's shit. Some people accept it as shit. And then people are like, actually, it's not that bad. Look, he's kind of funny. The guy's actually trying. So he gets over and they go, fuck off. It was, so he came in as quickly as he went out and he kept dancing and like, there's nothing worse than, like, when you're watching a comedy spot and you just stand still and you're like, I hate because somebody thinks this is funny.
Yeah.
In the office, not in the arena or in...
I am not having fun.
Yeah, I am having the opposite of what that man is doing.
Yeah.
It's pissing me off.
Also, I hated when he was on his way out, Corey Graves, I think it was. Was Corey Graves there commentating?
Oh my god, I can't remember. They had Cole JBL... King, possibly Graves.
I think
it would be Graves. Yeah, it would be Graves. Yeah.
Graves was like, how do you rate his chances of winning? And Lawler is obviously supposed to say, no way, Jose. But Lawler goes, slim to nil or some shit. It's like, he just set you up for a fucking pun, you stupid cunt.
Yeah, and you love puns. Like,
yeah,
90s
exactly.
Lawler would have been all over it.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck. He's like, pay me. So we get Joe and Drew kind of having exchanges. Xavier Woods came out. Kofi got thrown. What'd you think of that spot, though? The sort of, I'm going to get you to the ring. And then they got both thrown out. So that's also what I don't like about those like Superman spots.
Yeah, I know. He always just gets. What they need to do is give Kofi a couple of Battle Royale wins so that they can stop saying, "Oh, he's the one to watch. Oh, he's got the like." Shut the fuck up. He doesn't fucking win shit. It's the same with fucking the Big Show. Has won like one Battle Royal ever, and that was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So stop fucking acting like it's a big deal when he comes out. You fucking cunts.
Exactly. Oh, sorry. Along the way of this, Shinsuke Nakamura was thrown out by fucking
Mustafa Ali.
Mustafa Ali, and don't get me wrong, I think Mustafa Ali is also a good talent.
He actually is.
Side note, there's quite a lot of wrestlers these days with long hair and beard. I think that's coming back slowly.
Yeah,
you had Elias, Seth,
and like wearing trousers as well.
Yes, a lot of men wearing jeans. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a cool guy. I got my jeans on. I'm ready to wrestle.
No gods, no masters.
No. That's right, anarchy, baby.
Yeah.
Sons of anarchy. Drew McIntyre. What'd you think of him, though? Like, do you think they're giving him a push? Because they were like, "This the Scottish psychopath."
I have to be honest, right? I fucking hated him for all of the time that he was in WWE, and everyone was like, "Oh, but he's amazing," and I was like, "Shut your
first run.
Shut your whore mouth. He's awful."
If you're talking his first run, do you remember the theme song that he had? There was like a good minute and a half of intro.
Yeah, it was a weird, like, it had a weird Scottish sort of tint to it, but it was like rock music. Yeah.
Yes.
I just thought
Gotta have the bagpipes, mate. Otherwise, how are we supposed to know where he's from?
I know. But he went off and he became Drew Galloway, and he was apparently great in TNA, and I was like,
He
no,
was.
shut your fucking mouth. He is terrible. I do not want him anywhere near the WWE. And then he came to the WWE, and I was like, this fucking big, lanky prick again to go on about how he supports Rangers and all that. But then he actually is really good. So I was
Ziggler
wrong.
over. He got Ziggler over.
Well, in
It's
fairness,
hard to do.
like, I know that I kind of buried Ziggler in the last thing that we did, but I've always really liked Ziggler, and I always, like, again, I know I buried him, but I've always had time for him.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I think he gets a fucking raw deal, a little bit, and I think he's kind of like Sheamus in the sense that he's just fucking dependable. You know, he's capable of giving you that Survivor Series main event, and he's capable of doing stuff like that. You know, the fucking Raw after WrestleMania where he cashed in. Like, I think Ziggler has magic in him, and I think putting the two of them together was actually a stroke of genius because I think they elevate each other, and they did a great job of doing that. So.
That's it. Yeah, like they both. I mean, Ziggler not so much right now, but they both came off better than they would have been just treading water on their own. It was kind of like the Shawn Michaels Diesel thing, or the Shawn Michaels Sid thing, but kind of an updated version where it's like the slightly smaller guy and gets his fucking killer as his bodyguard. When it works, and I think that I think they have big plans for Drew in the next couple of months or years. So that's good.
Yeah.
We also got to see Pete Dunne, the British. I won a title in the UK, and I've had it for about 10 decades.
Cruiserweights have the worst branding. If you're gonna have no knee pads, you have to wear Brock Lesnar shorts, or else.
You look extra nude, don't you?
Oh, they look fucking. Who's that cunt with the umbrella? Is his name Jack Gallagher? Cruiserweight.
Yes. Sorry, I haven't thought about those guys. And you remember last year he had the spots with Jericho with the umbrella.
Yeah.
Yes, Jack Gallagher. Yes.
I fucking hate him just from looking at him. He looks like a fucking retard, and I fucking hate him. Like I'm repulsed by his fucking image. Like, put on a pair of trousers or knee pads, you fucking gowl. Like
you
what
look
the
too
fuck are
nude.
you? Yeah,
Going for a swim, buddy.
You look like you've escaped from a fucking asylum or something. Like, I can't believe that they go out there deciding to look like
if they let you go out there. Do you know who else used to do that? And then he stopped doing that. Cody Rhodes used to do that.
Yeah, he did.
No elbow pads, no knee pads. Like, why are you so nude? It's weird.
I've said this before about him. The reason why he never got a push in WWE is because he never fucking looked the part. Ever.
No.
And part of that
is now, by the way.
Yeah, I know, he does.
I've seen his stuff now. He looks like, because he did the beach blonde thing, but he wears tights now, and I think that's really, it's funny what a look change can do, really, isn't it?
But I truly believe that part of the reason why he never got over in WWE that way, why he never got the push in WWE, is because of his image. He looked terrible. The mustache was awful. The never wearing elbow pads or knee pads was terrible. And the fucking same for Sandow as well. Like, if Sandow looked like a wrestler, he would have fucking gone somewhere. You know what I mean? Like,
Johnny Bland. It's
a thing I get, like, disproportionately passionate about. Mm-hmm. But I see this Pete Dunne guy, and he is quite clearly fantastic as a talent. But he just doesn't look the part.
I love his, like, finger breaking shit. Like, that's
it's cool.
I mean, it doesn't really work in the Rumble as such, but it's like so different to be like, this guy goes after your fingers. That's so nasty. Like, just fucking.
Aleister Black popping the finger back in, that was sick.
That was awesome. What'd you make of Aleister? Not enough tattoos?
Yes, I would say there is still some skin showing. No, he seems fucking class. And you know what? Like, he has the look. So
he's got a proper weird accent. He's I think Dutch Scottish.
Oh, is he? Oh, nice.
Yeah. So he's put it this way, like, he's very memorable when he speaks, and his gimmick's great. Like, he has a proper, like, death metal song. Again, if handled correctly, which you can say this by anybody at any point, but if handled correctly, he could be a big star.
He could go far, yeah.
And he got a huge pop, I think, as well.
He did.
Probably the biggest pop out of the people that came in from NXT. Dean Ambrose was eliminated. Shelton Bench, so we're not getting into later stages. Dean Ambrose was eliminated. Samoa Joe was eliminated. And that's honestly when I lost interest in the Rumble, personally. We saw Shelton Benjamin come out as well, weirdly, wearing trackies or like some weird jeans thing.
Yeah. I love Shelton, though. Big up to my man.
We got to see as well bartender Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Listen, he's got a shift at your local pub, but he's also got to go wrestle, and he's also a barista. But he has to get changed. So he's like, I'll have an outfit that'll be kind of one outfit fits all. Like, what is with the outfit?
I know. He went from like the lone wolf, like his hair didn't look great, but like he had a good thing going there, and now he looks like
isn't it?
He's a fucking Egypt. He looks like a fucking imbecile.
Like the state of him. I think what it is, apparently, someone once pointed out that like his boobs and his tummy look like a mouth, like, and he was very flabby. And Vince was like, put a fucking shirt on. You're a bartender. He's like, all right, I guess I'm a bartender.
Yeah.
As we head into the later stages, we see Rey Mysterio dressed as a peacock.
Yo, I have to say, Rey Mysterio is fucking awesome, and he looks like he's in great shape. And
last year, bro. I don't know what's happened. He's got new knees.
Yeah, he's got new knees. He's lost all of the like excess fat that he was carrying.
Yes.
He looked fucking great, and I was really like not sickened by him. And we all know that I hate Rey Mysterio, so.
If you haven't seen it, check out his 2 out of 3 falls match with Andrade Cien Almas, the guy who had the yellow trackies as well that came out earlier. Yeah. They had a phenomenal match, like a really Rey Mysterio was busting out a lot of like, it was like almost as close to like WCW Rey Mysterio or sick. Early WWE Rey Mysterio, like when he came in and fought Kurt, that you're gonna get. Like he is on that like second wind of a run that people seem to get as well in wrestling, where it's like Jericho had it, a couple of other people had it, like Matt Hardy had it, like where it's just like they must all be on that DDP yoga as well or something, where it's like take care of your knees, always stretch, always that shit. So
I wish Triple H would go on DDP yoga and make a comeback to the ring, because his later matches are so fucking good, and he just does not get enough credit for how good he is in the ring, like at such an old age. He's still massive by like if you look at him in 97 to like 2000, like, and even now, like he was doing the fucking peck dance. Do you remember when Kurt Angle came out at WrestleMania? He was doing the fucking tit dance. Like he's doing just fine. He's a bodybuilder basically.
Yeah, it's weird. He's still got the bodybuilding body, but he doesn't. He hasn't like gained any flexibility. He just rarely fucks up.
Yeah, he gets injured. That's just what does him in.
Yeah, of course, his knees, because they're carrying a lot of weight on those legs. But we saw Bobby Lashley, who basically looks the same as he did in like 2006, I swear.
Yeah, it's unreal.
He also deserves a push. He didn't come across like a star. They tried for a while with him and Roman, like after Mania, and then they just kind of went, nah, you're fine.
Yeah. Will we get Lashley versus Brock?
I mean, at some point, it might actually be in that country where they murder journalists. I don't want to talk about it. Or the other one. Yeah. Andorra. Yes. Yeah. Bolivia. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. A little inside joke there. Anyways, so Bobby Lashley got limited, and I thought it was like a blown spot. I thought something had gone wrong there. And then obviously he put Seth through the table because he's pissed now.
So that gives Seth something to do at Roadblock when Brock is not there.
Yes! This man knows wrestling. Yeah. We saw Jeff Hardy wearing probably the ugliest shirt I've ever seen.
Terrible, but he was very good, as always. You gotta respect what he has been through and what he is still able to do and what he still does. Like, fair fucking play to him.
He said at SummerSlam that he had one Swanton match in him, and at SummerSlam he went on to do a Swanton bomb to the ring apron, and then at Hell in a Cell he fucking fell off the top and just collapsed, and Randy Orton fucked his ear. Jeff Hardy has been taking beatings pretty much every week on SmackDown, and almost every week there's all these stories coming out of him being like, oh man, I only got one more Swanton in me, man. I'm dying, man. I'm not so good, brother. And then he comes out and he still does the whisper in the wind to everyone.
Yeah.
He's a living legend. His bump card, as they call in the business, when like you have to retire because you're fucked, your back, your knees, you name it. Like, it's running out, but he's like going, no, I've got. It's weird. He's always like, I got one more in me. I mean, obviously they're not even getting behind Jeff either, so he didn't exactly come across like a star like everybody else. Strowman was in the ring at this point.
Run.
The nipple.
Yes. Oh my God, I've written it down. I've written it down as well. It's in my notes. Put the nipple away.
Yeah. I was saying to my husband, I was like, why is this man so comfortable having one of his nips out?
If somebody
put it away.
If my shirt grazes off my nipple, it's irritating for about 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're in a big match, you probably aren't like thinking, oh, how's my nipple there? But like, show you another guy as he's doing a move being like, Braun, what? Your fucking tits out. What? Yeah. We don't want nip slips. No, the whole match. Like, it immediately just made me not take him seriously anymore. So he's no longer a star for me either.
Yeah. Fuck him.
So we had, who do we have after that? We had Randy Orton coming out at 29, so we're getting towards the end.
We also had Ziggler come in and eliminate his buddy Drew McIntyre, which obviously sets up... Yeah.
Yeah, boy. Should be good if they do that match, to be fair.
So, the entrant number 30 was R-Truth. Or was it?
Because he won, him and Carmella won the mixed match challenge. R-Truth also doesn't age.
Yeah, he also doesn't fucking rap or enunciate his words when he talks.
He's a big fan of the DMX style of rapping, which is the, where my dog's at? I'm angry. Like that style. Or Jarul. Remember him? There was a guy called Ja Rule. Was it Ja? Was he Jamaican?
Ja Rule, the Fire Festival guy.
Yeah, that's him. He was that's the guy, yeah. Have you seen that documentary, perchance?
I absolutely have.
I haven't, but I saw the clip. The clip.
Yeah.
A man fully
prepared to suck that dick.
He was like, I went in there. If people haven't seen that clip, it's a clip that went viral about, like, I don't know who that guy is. I didn't have any context, but he just talks about how, like, you have to suck dick. So he went to meet somebody else, and he was like, I went into that meeting ready to get a dick.
I have a lot of questions about that. But I just want to say one thing. You know the old SmackDown theme that went like, yes. The guy singing all of that, he has a better flow than R-Truth. R-Truth is disgustingly bad at rapping.
And he should know that song. That's like his song that he's been doing since 2000.
Yeah.
He's teaming with Road Dogg when he was all fucked up and on drugs. Road Dogg. God bless his soul. Good to see he's still alive and overcame his demons. Great. Just want to throw that out there. Lovely guy.
So Nia Jax.
Nia Jax gets the second biggest pop of the night.
Yeah. So,
what'd you make of this? Huh?
When she gets in the ring, right? And Corey is like, is this official? And then Michael Cole says, if this is official, Nia becomes the first woman to compete in the men's Rumble match. Right? And then there is a silence when someone gets in his ear and says, listen here, you fuck. And then Michael Cole goes, I mean, there was China and Molly, and he named all four of the other people. But, like, at no point does he fucking... Oh, man, he fucking gets on my nerves more than anyone else.
How can you not know?
How can you say that?
He called the Rumble in 99. I know he's probably called a lot since then.
No, but you know what he should have done? Was he should have said, what I meant was she'd be the first woman to compete in the men's Rumble since they've introduced the women's Rumble. But he didn't. He just let it out.
Or on the same night as the women's Rumble.
Yes, that would have been ideal, yeah. But
either or, man.
Oh, man, he's so fucking brutal.
Yeah, he's always like just one sentence away from falling apart. Like, he held it together for the Sasha match.
Yeah.
And by the way, the reason why I haven't been talking too much about commentary is that, like, I didn't watch this on my own, so I was actually talking to people. But, like, I imagine watching this on your own, it's like, it's the most grating thing in the world. Because you're like, you get all these stats. You do all these stats to have. It's like, oh my god, if Mysterio is in the ring for another 10 minutes, he's been in the ring as long as Triple H and Jericho in combined time, or he's eliminated as much people as Shawn Michaels in over the years. But then there'll be other shit where he's just like completely oblivious, and it's like, no, you are either lazy because you didn't do your research properly, or you are purposely trying to say that so you get that soundbite. Because no one's going to be like, oh yeah, this is China and Beth Phoenix. Because in the packages in the future, they're just going to say, oh my god, it's Nia. She's in the match. She's the first woman to be in the match. And, you know, not a lot of people are like us, have been watching for as long as us. But it's like, China deserves props. Beth deserves props. Karma deserves props. It's not so much you happen to be wrong, and it's like, that's what fucks me off. It's like, you're not paying respect to people who fucking did it, you know? You're whitewashing history, which you should never do. Can I just say, Nia got a lot of offense here. She got booked like fucking The Big Show.
She did, and that was really good, I thought.
I enjoyed it. I was like, now it's a Rumble. Now that the one woman who wasn't supposed to be in it is in it, now we're in business.
But when Ziggler super kicked her, Jerry the King Lawler let out
didn't he?
He did that laughing cum thing where he's laughing and spunk is flying everywhere. I've never heard him fucking laugh like that before. And I knew, I hate being like a liberal snowflake, right? But it was uncomfortable. Like,
there's a lot going on behind the laughter that that we all know what it is, but we all can't accuse him because he's like, no, she was attacking the guys. But it's like, oh, Jerry, you old...
And JBL, too.
Shit, you... Yeah, JBL's probably like, right, we gotta hit him! If they don't come in the match, you hit them!
There was one moment where Randy Orton was setting up to RKO her, and Michael Cole said, he couldn't RKO... I mean, Randy Orton has done a lot of things, and in my head, all I can hear is, he shat in Sable's bag. He fucking...
Yeah, he fucking punted Stacy Keibler or hit her with an RKO, and that was the funniest thing. I don't know if you remember this weird... Because he got a girlfriend on WWE TV, which was Stacy, at, like, just before Stacy left. And this is at the height of the Randy Orton professionalism. And it's weird because they're doing this storyline with The Undertaker. And he's like, he RKOs her. And he's like, if I can do that to my own girlfriend, just imagine what I can do to you. It's like, Undertaker's not like 100-pound woman, though, is he?
Yeah.
I always find that so weird. If I can beat the shit out of my best friend, imagine what I can do to you. It's like, well, that's your best friend. He didn't see it coming. I am your enemy. What the fuck? I always find those to be so weird.
I think the point is that it's like, I am so ruthless that I don't even have an emotional connection to the person that I'm emotionally connected to. Imagine
they
what
do
I'm
that. I agree. I know. Yeah, of course. But like, they do this in films all the times, where like they'll have the main bad guy, and then you have like these sort of lower end bad guys who are like, oh my god, I got beaten up by like the main good guy, and they just like kill him. And it's like, you have no army if you keep doing that, by the way. And why would anyone want to join? Like, if you disappoint me, I will literally murder you where you stand.
Yeah.
So it was like that. It was like, can you believe what Randy Orton can do? He's so sadistic. It's like, well, he's beating up on women. Like, that is sadistic and fucked up, but it's like...
He hears voices in his head, guys.
They talk to him. They RKO Nia.
Yeah.
RKO looked great as well, to be fair. And then I liked it when Nia I think she put Ziggler or Mustafa in the 619. She's like, go on, Ray. Go on. I'm a heel.
That was great.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, she was one of the highlights of this match, I'll be honest with you. And she was a bigger star than most of these lads, it felt like.
Yeah, I agree. She was booked really well.
Yeah. I can't remember if she eliminated anyone, but... I don't think she did.
She eliminated Mustafa Ali.
Yes, who, by the way, also had a great showing.
He did. He was fantastic, yeah.
For him. So now we get down to the latter stages, and it's like Seth comes back in.
I forgot about Strowman. I was remembering Seth the whole time, because I was like, oh, right, it's down to... Dolph Ziggler and Andrade, and that's it. But I was like, I remember that Rollins is there, so he's obviously going to win. But then Braun showed up, but I still knew that Rollins was going to win. So
yeah. I mean, they're not going to go with Brock versus Braun because they don't trust Braun. I think they're a little bit sour on him at the moment. So I don't know if it's backstage stuff or I don't know if I think he had knackered knees for a while as well. So they're kind of like, ooh, don't know if we can make him, but he looked fine in this match for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's face or heel, to be perfectly honest with you, these days.
I like that though. I think there should be more shades of gray in wrestling.
Like certain people who are just like a bit like Stone Cold in the early days when he'd stun heels and faces. It's kind of like, I don't care about anybody.
Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. That's always a period that I remember where Roman was a tweener. Like he was absolutely a heel and a face. And
I'm not a guy. I am the guy. That was the era of that catchphrase, wasn't it?
Come on, I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a good guy. I'm the guy. That was fucking amazing, actually, and that promo was great.
They didn't stick with it. It was different, and it's like,
do you know what? Michael Cole did a terrible job of announcing that because he was just like, "It's the guy." It's like you need to fucking emphasize fucking imbecile. It's the guy.
No, it's the man. It's not like Becky is a man.
Exactly.
Like, that's not what she's not. Yeah.
It's not like out of this match, he's the one that's a guy. Oh, it's like Roman versus Rollins. Like, which one is Roman? Oh, he's the guy.
But yeah, if it was like, this is Big Match John, it was just like, this is John. This is Big John.
Exactly, this is Big John, yeah.
It's just some guy called John then. Big John
Cena versus the Big Show. Which one is John Cena? Oh, he's Big John.
He's he's the show. That's the bigger show. So we come down a little bit similar to towards the end of the last Rumble. We have the big guy and then a couple of other like smaller people, but eventually comes down to Seth and Strowman. I kind of like the back and forth. I probably enjoyed this bit the most. These sort of last 20-30 seconds. Because he did the Chris Benoit spot when he did it on the Big Show, like the choke over the rope thing.
Yeah.
And then that wasn't the finish. And then he shoved Strowman in the ring post, delivered a stomp like his finish as well, which was cool. That
was actually class.
That was a great finish. So Seth Rollins is going to WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure he's challenging Lesnar as well, which basically makes SmackDown's champion seem a little bit lame, not gonna lie, Bryan and Asuka. Like, we don't want anything to do with you two. They should have gone one each. So I think...
maybe he will pick Bryan, though.
No, he's picked Lesnar, I think. I think he's actually already picked
him. What do you want from me? I had to fucking put 5 hours of my evening into watching this fucking thing when I got home from work.
3 hours too many. A lot of comedy in this Rumble, a lot of unfunny comedy, a lot of quick, weird eliminations.
A lot of shit, to be honest.
It was mostly shit with some sprinkles of like, oh, that's good. Oh, no.
This was a 2008 era Rumble. That's what it felt like. This is forgettable. People will forget about this Rumble.
Which as I said, like that's the worst thing to be. It's you can be so funny. It's so bad is good, so good is bad. That one doesn't really work. But the last thing you want to be is a meh. And this was a meh Royal Rumble.
It was.
It's not going to be remembered. Like, remember the finish last year between Nakamura and Roman?
Yeah.
They were going back and forth, and you get the spear, and he goes for the punch, and he goes for the Kinshasa kick, and it was like, it was like the women's one. You're fucking just electric, and the crowd is just going, ah! And it's, that was a long Rumble too. But a long show too, I should say, sorry, or a long Rumble event. And that there was an element of like they've accomplished something with so many matches here that there's this one match that just had to be like off, and it was it. This was the unfortunate one. So it was kind of a dud ending. But overall, given the fact there was 5 hours, given the fact that there's 2 Royal Rumble matches, the show overall, like I wouldn't recommend anyone goes watch it like all of it in sequentially, but like it wasn't a bad show. I remember WrestleMania last year being a struggle, and I was a little bit longer, and I remember thinking I'm not struggling as bad as I was at WrestleMania, which is meant to be the bigger show, to be honest.
I think this was I guess like Brock Finn was great. No, I don't know, man. I really didn't think this event was that great, and it probably was. It's just that it was punctuated by an hour-long slog, pretty much.
I'm beginning to think that the women should actually just have their own pay-per-view, like the day before, the week after. You know, they can rinse this on the network and just be like 3 hours for the men, 3 hours for the women.
Yeah.
You pick what you want to watch. Like, we already got your money because it's the fucking network, so you've already paid your $9.99. So, yeah, I think if you take away the women's matches, the women's Rumble and the 2 title matches, a very average show.
Yeah.
If you take men's stuff, I think it'll be quite a decent show.
It would be a really good show.
Yeah. Obviously, it'd be a 3-match show. It'd be like awful, but like I think it'd be a better show if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so maybe put Brock and Finn there as well. Yeah. So that was the Royal Rumble.
What'd you give it out of 10?
5.
Yeah.
The bad dragged down the good kind of made up for the bad, but it was a roller coaster in like the weirdest way possible, I think. What did everyone else think? Please let us know as well in the comment section and wherever else you want to tell us about how the Rumble was. Did you watch it? Did you watch it in a single sitting? Was it painful? Of course it was painful. If you watched it in a single sitting and live. But
you'd be doing well.
Yeah, you were, especially in this day and age of phones and everything, all the distractions, like you'd be a fucking saint to do that. But yeah, we're on the road to WrestleMania. Officially.
Woo!
We are on that funky road. But yeah, in closing, what was match of the night for you?
Good question. I'm torn between Brock and Balor and Sasha and Ronda. I'd probably go for Sasha Ronda because I think Brock's thing is a little bit tired, and also it was a shorter match, so yeah.
Yeah, I'd say I'd go for the opener. I really enjoyed the way that one kind of built.
Yeah, that's fair too.
Asuka won. But yeah, everyone, let us know what you thought. I've got a feeling that WrestleMania might still take a few turns in terms of like, because I'm saying, you know, we were Drew McIntyre versus Thingy, but I'm thinking a lot of WrestleMania is probably not figured out yet because they're like, so probably have a lot to figure out. But if they go with Becky and Ronda and Brock and Seth will probably be quite similar to Finn and Brock, but I think that's probably like the best that they got, especially with Cena hurt and everyone else just basically not being a star. Seth Rollins has been kind of groomed as well because he got the Kingslayer stuff. You know what? I accidentally kept calling it the Cuck Slayer. He's the Triple H's massive cuck, mate. And Seth Rollins coming to cuck that to kill the Cuck Slayer, slay the cuck. But yeah, so I think we're just gonna get on out of here, aren't we?
Yeah, because I really need to piss.
Wrap up this motherfucker. Many thanks for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, follow, delete, deliver, buy, sell, high, low, D-low.
Yay, nay.
Good night.
And I won't be denied, 'cause all I've got left is my pride. And I will rise up, break it out, break it down, break it rules, break it ground. Like a chance, now it's gone, a new day,